The Sonic Fanbase really needs no introduction, does it? Starting back in 1991, the Sonic franchise has managed to survive over 30 years of ups and downs, and even when the series was in those downs, it could always count on its dedicated fan base to keep it alive. This series has managed to accumulate millions of fans around the world that are in anticipation for pretty much anything that has the Sonic brand on it. From video games, cartoons, comics, the Sonic franchise has a massive tree branch of different mediums that it can rely on, not too dissimilar to properties like Mickey Mouse or Mario. Of course, not nearly on the same level, but you know what I mean. The fan base is also filled with tons of talented people whose love for the character, I would argue, transcends any other franchise. From the fan game creators to the Sonic artists, if you can think about it, the fan base has probably already done it. While yeah, admittedly it's really easy to make fun of the fan base, I can't lie and say it isn't filled with amazing people. Hell, some of my closest friends are actually Sonic fans, and I'm also. Now you're probably wondering what did I use? Okay. Guys, I'm going to say a completely piping, hot statement that will rumble the Omniverse. You ready? There's a problem in the Sonic community. No, not those. Today I want to talk about an issue that I've been seeing way too much around Twitter. An issue I like to call the Hivemind mindset. Now, what is the Hivemind mindset, you're probably asking? Well, to answer that, we have to go all the way back to the roller coaster ride that was the reveal of Sonic Frontiers. The build up to Frontiers was fucking insane, with the original gameplay showcased by IGN that was meant to show off this big new leap for the franchise was met with a resounding, "This is fucking dog shit." Many people had a problem with this gameplay reveal footage, and it pretty blatantly depicted massive problems that can hinder the experience once the game was released. Clunky looking controls, awful baby puzzles, and a pretty bland, soulless attempt at making Sonic open zone. It was fucking bad. Pretty much everything you didn't want to see in a Sonic game was present in the reveal, making Frontiers one of the most clowned on games at the time.
Downright terrible.
Motherfuckers who never even talked about Sonic were bringing up Frontier's shortcomings, and while there was plenty of people holding on to hope, the common consensus was that there was no hope. But then something amazing happened, something that many people thought was impossible, something that completely turned Frontier's reputation on its head, and that something is, Sonic Team released more gameplay footage, and it looked better. Sonic is back, baby! Yeah, it seems like with every new trailer that Sonic Team released, the game was looking like an overall much better product, at least in comparison with the original gameplay showcase. This is where the conspiracy theories started to try to explain why this was the case. And by conspiracy theories, I mean excuses for why Sega decided to reveal the game so shittily. Well, it was the person playing the game in the showcase's fault, or it was an earlier build so the final release will obviously be better. Whether or not these are valid excuses isn't really important to the topic of this video, but once all was said and done, Frontiers finally released. And the reception was honestly not that bad. I know some people like to highlight some of the bad reviews the game had, but overall, Frontiers was received well by general audiences and was praised by Sonic fans immensely. The fanbase ate this game up, with many claiming it's the best in the entire series. They're wrong, but okay. But as the months went by, a massive shift in the game's perception began to occur, with many people saying the unthinkable. Frontiers? It's kind of mid. This is what I want to talk about. In my many years of being a Sonic fan and closely following the fanbase, there seems to be a noticeable pattern with plenty of games in the series that start off with a positive reputation, but then slowly shift into negativity, with many people in the fanbase pointing out their flaws and thus making the game having a split reputation. One of the biggest ones I can think of at the top of my head is Sonic Colors. Within its original release, Colors was seen as one of the best in the franchise, being both critically acclaimed and loved by fans. Not only that, but it was also seen as one of the best games on the Wii, and was notably stated by Sonic Team as
an evolution of Sonic's daytime levels from Unleashed, now with new color powers. Sonic in 3D finally finds its footing.
Fucking stupid. However, you see the discussion on this game now in the fanbase, the game gets fucking obliterated, with many people pointing out its flaws and saying that it's an overrated, bare-bones platformer that doesn't deserve the praise it originally got. Why is this? Why is it that pretty much every year the fanbase seems to change their mind on a specific Sonic topic, whether it be the games, writing, character designs, and so on? Well, I think I have a good answer to this question, but first we need to establish what an opinion is. An opinion, according to me, is a person's feeling or view on pretty much anything that is specifically their viewpoint. There's no fact to it. An opinion is based on your feeling and your feeling alone. The thing is, when you're a part of the Sonic community, you see many people take this beautiful word and then crush it and simplify it to the most basic thing imaginable. What plenty of people don't seem to realize is that an opinion is way more complex than we give it credit for. It isn't just a black and white way of viewing different pieces of media. People can be somewhere in the middle of good and bad, and to be fair, I think a lot of people, not just including the Sonic fanbase, don't really really understand this. Let's bring back Frontiers into the conversation. When released, the Sonic community was going crazy for it, making it one of the best-selling Sonic games in a long while. Thing is, when a few months pass and all the initial hype starts fading, you're gonna get a few people who didn't think the game was all that. For example,
Me.
that's right, after a long-ass layoff, I can finally give my unfiltered thoughts on Frontiers and fucking tear it a new one. You ready, liberals? Sonic Frontiers? It's okay. Overall, I honestly think the game does a lot right, but it's sadly bogged down by stupid decisions like most of the cyberspace levels being bare bones, the boring minigames being randomly thrown across each island, the art style being so fucking dull, and the ending being so fucking dog shit that Sonic Team have now released a full-on update retconning the fucking thing. All of these are valid reasons to hate the game, but despite that, I can give Frontiers a 6 out of 10. You see, it's funny because in the original script, I gave it a 7. And say, yeah, I enjoyed my time. There's nothing wrong with playing the middleman with your opinions on a piece of media. Sometimes it's fine just saying it was mid. Now, what does this have to do with the so-called Hivemind mindset? Well, to answer that, I want to introduce a little word called generalization. Generalization, according to my brain, is when you take a certain aspect of something, this could be a specific argument or even a person or group of people, and then proceed to perceive that specific thing to have a certain attribute due to some kind of previous experience. Okay, so I'm
Mexican.
So if I tell a person, let's say, I hate spaghetti, and that person then thinks, oh, this
Mexican
said he hates spaghetti, therefore all
Mexicans
hate spaghetti.
kill them all, kill them all, kill them.
Just replace Mexican with Sonic fan and spaghetti with any of the thousands of arguments and hot takes you can find on the internet, and it's basically the same thing. You know, minus the racism. This way of thinking is something I see way too often in this community, with the same exact cycle being repeated over and over again. People legit think that just because certain parts of the fanbase start spewing their hot takes on specific aspects of the franchise, automatically means the entire fanbase can't make up their minds, thus giving the fanbase the reputation of being filled with people who can't stand on one opinion for more than 5 seconds, when in reality that's not really the case. Remember me saying that Sonic as a franchise has millions of fans around the world? Well, that isn't just some dumb factoid to open up the video. I feel like it's an important element to the argument I'm making here. My argument being, the entire Sonic fanbase isn't defined by one person's opinion, or even 100,000 people's opinions. I'm really sick and tired of seeing the statement of, Sonic fans don't even know what they want for this franchise, when someone is just stating something that might be unpopular that other people might agree or disagree with. It's okay to disagree with these opinions 100%. Trust me, I've seen some fucking dog shit takes throughout my time in this fanbase. But to categorize the entire fanbase in any sort of negative way due to some people having a specific view on a game, character, mechanic, writing, or anything else is pretty fucking stupid. Another recent example of this is the release of Update 3 of Sonic Frontiers, The Final Horizon. The original reception of the update seemed to be pretty mixed, with the main criticism being that the new open world segments and some of the challenges were way too difficult just for the sake of being difficult. This then led to many people saying, well, the fanbase complained that Frontiers was too easy. Now they're saying the game is too hard. The fanbase can never decide what it wants, can it? And it's like, one, I honest to God have never seen anyone make the argument that Frontiers was too easy, so that shit automatically makes no fucking sense, but whatever, that doesn't really matter. And two, this is a perfect example of my argument and shows that this type of shit is still going on. Some people are just automatically assuming that the fans complaining about the difficulty spike in Update 3 are the same people who complained that base Frontiers was too easy. You are dumb.
Kill yourself.
The moral of this video is basically, don't try to shit on an entire fanbase due to an argument you saw on Twitter. Surprise, surprise, people have lives. That fucking rhymes. Someone saying they want Green Hill to be all the levels in a new Sonic game doesn't mean the entire fanbase wants that. Trust me. Anyways, before I end off this video, I want to discuss and hopefully answer a topic I brought up earlier, that being the amount of switch-ups in opinions for certain Sonic games in the franchise. I do honestly think it has something to do with the fact that the people who grew up on games like Unleash, Generations, and Colors are now old enough to communicate their opinions to the world. They ain't fucking watching Wow Wow Wubsy or Fetch with Rough Rough Men anymore. It's all about Breaking Bad and Sonic Prime. I think a lot of people forget that Sonic's main demographic is children at the end of the day. So when these people start posting their unorthodox opinions online, you're gonna get an influx of idiots heading straight for the Hivemind mindset. I myself am a part of those people who grew up on these games. And in order to tie up this video, I would now like to state an opinion that isn't too popular in the holy Sonic community. Sonic Mania is mid. Oh!